So 2014 was a big year for me. Do you ever have that, just like a big year? Well, for me, it went like this. On October 3rd, I lost my second pregnancy. Then on October 8th, my dad died of cancer. And on November 25th, my husband Aaron died after 3 years with stage 4 glioblastoma, which is just a fancy word for brain cancer. Usually when I talk about this period in my life, the response I get is along the lines of, I can't even imagine. But I think you can. I think you can, and you should, because someday it's going to happen to you. In the past few years, a total of 12 people in my life have died. I've lost family friends, grandparents, and my own father just before the start of high school. Before truly experiencing loss, we're under this impression that a grieving person will eventually get over it, though that is never the case. Author Nora McInerney discusses this life after loss in her 2018 TED Talk. We don't move on from grief. We move forward with it. When your person dies, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend or boyfriend, your friends and family are going to look through friends of friends of friends until they find someone who's gone through something similar. And then they will push you two towards each other so you can talk amongst yourselves and not get your sad on other people. So that's what we do. We make small groups where you can talk about your dead person and say the things that the rest of the people in your lives are not ready or willing to hear yet. Things like, my husband died 2 weeks ago, and I can't stop thinking about sex. Is that normal? Yes. What if it's with one of the property brothers? Okay, less normal, but it's okay. Or things like, whenever I go out in public and I see two old people holding hands, couples who've clearly been together for decades, I think of all the things that they've gone through together. The good things, the bad things, the arguments over who will take out the trash. And I just find that my heart is so full of rage. Is that normal? Yes, and that example is most personal to me. And I will tell you, since 2014, I have remarried a very lovely man named Matthew. We have 4 children in our blended family. We live in the suburbs of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I drive a minivan. By any measure, life is really, really good. But that doesn't mean that I've moved on. And I hate that phrase so much. Because what it says is that Aaron's life and love and death are moments that I can put behind me. And that I should. But the truth is, the people who we love, who we've lost, are still so present for us here. He's present for me in the work that I do, in the child that we had together, and in these other 3 children I'm raising who have never met him, who don't share an ounce of his DNA, but who are only in my life because I had Aaron and because I lost him. So I've not moved on. Because when you watch your person fill themselves with poison for 3 years just to stay alive with you a little bit longer, that stays with you. When you watch the healthy person from the night that you met fade into nothing, that stays with you. So I've not moved on from Aaron. Rather, I have moved forward with him. Grief doesn't happen in this big vacuum. It happens alongside and mixed in with all these other emotions. When I first met Matthew, there was this audible sigh of relief from the people who love me. Like, it's over! She did it! She got her happy ending, and we can all go home. And that narrative is so appealing, even to me. And I'll admit, I thought for a moment that I had got it. But I didn't. I got another chapter. And it is such a good chapter, don't get me wrong. But especially at the beginning, it felt like an alternate universe. Or like one of those old choose-your-own-adventure books from the 80s where there's 2 plot lines. So I opened my heart to Matthew, and from my brain came the urge to think about Aaron. The past, the present, the future, all of it. And I did. And all of a sudden, it's like these 2 plot lines were unfurling all at once. And falling in love with Matthew helped me to realize the enormity of what I lost when Aaron had died. But more importantly, it helped me to realize that my love and my grief for Aaron and my love for Matthew are not opposing forces. They're strands of the same thread. They're made of the same stuff. Grief is one of those things, like falling in love or having a baby, where you don't really get it until you do it. And once you do it, once it's your love or your baby or your grief in your front row at a funeral, you get it. You realize that what you're experiencing is not a moment in time. It is not a bone that will be reset. Rather, you have been touched by something chronic, something incurable. That is to say, grief is a multitasking emotion. You can and will be sad and happy. You can be grieving and able to love in the same year or week, the same breath. A grieving person is going to laugh again and to smile again. And if they are really lucky, they will love again. Absolutely. A grieving person is going to move forward with their life. But that does not mean that they've moved on.